Hey everyone, this is Raymond Shook again with Shook's Custom Firearms. This is our FTH 212 Week 1 module. Instructor's name is Timothy Pardue. Today's date is June 2nd, 2024. We're going to be going over one of the custom rifles I built. We're going to be going over, I'll be showing a schematic and where I found the schematic. We'll be going over tools that were discussed this week for disassembly, additional tools needed, tools for measurements, some of the dimensions we need to measure, components requiring finesse, some parts that are frustrating to remove, or that I find frustrating, parts that can be easily lost and how to prevent losing them, and whether I believe this has many or a few components and what that can mean for a gunsmith. So, without any further wait, we'll get into this. Okay, the model I chose is the Shook's Custom Firearm SCF-15. We're going to start by ensuring that our firearm is clear of ammunition. Our workspace is already clear. We're going to start. We're going to pull back the charging handle, lock it. We're going to visually and physically ensure that there's no ammo in the firearm. For this right here, with this being more of a custom build, it does have a Bear Creek upper, which is side charging. I couldn't find a schematic for just for the upper, but for the most part, it's just like a normal AR-15. We got our schematic from blackrifledepot.com. I'll have a picture of that with the website link on it. That'll pop up here in a minute. But let me move on to that, and I'll get back to the rest of it here in a second. Okay, when it comes to tools for disassembly on this, for the most part it's pretty simple, just for field stripping and cleaning. But when it comes to fully disassemble, some of the tools discussed in the lecture were the hammer, Allen wrenches or bits. They didn't really say Allen wrenches, but they showed bits. We need a wrench, or like the barrel nut, screwdrivers, and then additional tools that you would need for full disassembly would be the barrel nut wrench, an armorer's wrench. So the barrel nut, different companies make different styles, so you may need a special one just for the barrel nut you're fitting on. Once again, a wrench for the muzzle brake. Some companies have special wrenches for those that are proprietary just for them, but for the most part, a lot of these are just standard tools. Tools for measurement: tape measure for measuring overall length, for measuring barrel length, handguard length, stuff like that. Or you may need to, like this one here, has a shorter buffer tube than your normal AR-15 due to the style bracelets on it. You would need a micrometer for measuring small parts to ensure that they're within spec. You need a cleaning rod. A cleaning rod would come in handy for doing barrel length, as you can stick it down the barrel, measure all the way down to the bolt face and get your full barrel length. Calipers, that would come in handy for measuring like the width of your bolt face or stuff like that. Firing pin protrusion gauge for measuring how far out your firing pin's sticking. That way you can confirm whether it's worn down or if your firing pin may be a little bit too long. Go-no-go gauge for checking headspace. That is a very important one when you're working on firearm. Once again, dimensions. You got barrel length. You have your firing pin protrusion, bore diameter. If you have a firearm that is pretty accurate, now you're getting groups that are way bigger than before, you may want to check your bore diameter, see if it's still within spec. Your firing pin. Check the diameter of the fire pin, check the length, make sure it's within spec. The pins that hold your trigger in, sometimes them get wore out over time, so you may want to check those. Components that require finesse to take out, the main one that I can think of would be your detent springs and your detent pins, which are on your takedown pins. When you take those out, that leads into the next thing. They can be easily lost when you go to take them out. Like they can be lost or damaged taking the detent springs out. Let me correct that. But easily lost. You've got your detent pins and springs. You've got screws such as your grip screw, your handguard screw, stuff like that. This one has a right back here that holds a, instead of having a charging handle here, it's got a little cap that screws in. Has a O-ring on it. I have lost a few of them O-rings. Something you can do to prevent that: use magnet trays. Magnet trays are a big thing. Just set them in there, they stay. Ziploc bags. I have used Ziploc bags, and that also comes in like taking small parts apart. Like on some of your bolt action rifles, you have a bolt, set it inside that Ziploc bag, so that way when everything comes apart, it stays inside the bag. Does this have many or few components? It does have a lot of components, but I would say it has more than a revolver or bolt action, but less than like a striker or hammer fired pistol. It's kind of an in-between. It's not really too many or too few parts. For a gunsmith that knows what they're doing, this is an easy job. For someone who specializes more in pistols or bolt actions, AR-15 does have a lot of parts. It can take them a while to take it apart. That'll pretty much be it for this week. Back to the components requiring finesse. Any small part that you have to take apart, be very careful, especially if they have springs, small screws. You can end up damaging the springs. You have to get them bent. The screws, you can end up breaking them. Always check your torch specs, make sure you're torching to spec. Like with your barrel nuts, especially going into aluminum, you want to make sure you have it at the spec and don't over tighten. Over tightening can cause breaking, stuff like that. So always follow the torch specs. You may think, oh, a little bit tighter ain't gonna hurt, or too loose ain't gonna hurt. Too loose, strip it out, over tighten can break it. But that'll be it for this week, and y'all have a good day.